course, it's the Bull, John Makdessi. We got back here in the program. Doesn't have a fight coming up, actually. We want to talk about his last loss. Lando Venata. Lando fought last week and lost himself. But it was like a weird fight for me watching it from home. Obviously, I wasn't in your camp. I wasn't in your corner. But from home, all of a sudden, I figured a spinning wheel kick would be something with your background that you'd see coming and be able to handle very easily. But it ended up being a KO. He ended up catching you with it and putting it down. So now that you have time, have you looked at the fight since you fought last?
Yeah, of course. I mean, it's kind of hard not to look at it. Though it was all over social media.
Yeah.
It was, it's a bittersweet. It's a bittersweet. It's a sense of, that old saying. You live by the sword, you die by the sword. I mean,
Yeah.
me personally, the thing is, I won't lie to you. I was shocked. I was in disappointment. It was very embarrassing because, I grew up in Taekwondo, karate. I mean, nobody ever pulled that stuff in training. Period. I would have seen that kid coming from a mile away. But for some reason, the fight, just the whole preparation, the whole training, the energy going into the fight wasn't the same. Obviously, I took a risk leaving, leaving a big camp like TriStar. I left the comfort of surrounding myself with high level guys just because of I wanted something different. I was very unhappy. In 9 years now, I'm going on 10 years in my professional career.
Yeah.
Obviously, I take my hats off. I don't see nothing negative about Trust. Trust has been great to me. High level guys, of course, George St. Pierre, David Loiseau, the pioneers. You got newcomers, but I never really got the attention that I felt that I needed to improve as a fighter. It's like the meat grind.
Yeah.
You're in there with the best. You're in there with all the wolves, and at the end of the day, you just kind of have to. You gotta survive. And I was kind of tired of that way of. I was tired of following a system. I try to kind of I try to get away from that and try something different. Found the independent gym. I found more. I try to get hands one-on-one attention with the coaches. I try something different to try to focus on me and focus on my game. But the thing is that the problem is, the money and not everybody has the same motivation. It's very hard to build a team to kind of and to stay consistent. That's the hardest part. It's consistency. People, they're not consistent. In my last training camp, my coaches weren't there. There was no communication. People, I wasn't the energy wasn't the same. My boxing coach wasn't doing his part. My jiu-jitsu coach wasn't doing his part. Everybody kind of just shifted off. My head coach that I gave that responsibility kind of lost control. To be honest with you, he just I don't blame nobody. I don't want to find excuses. It's just something that has been frustrating for me. Because at the end of the day, I gotta manage all my coaches. I gotta manage myself. I gotta motivate myself. People have no idea how hard it is to be a fighter. It's not like a team sport like hockey or football where the player just has to show up. You know what I mean? It's not like that. We don't just show up. We have to plan our training. We have to figure out a formula that works. We have to plan our nutrition. We gotta talk to my trainers to keep them on the same page, because most of these guys, they're not really educated. Most of these guys, they don't really. Yes, they don't really understand. Most of them, to be honest, they don't want to understand. They just look at you like a number. You're a UFC fighter. They expect you. They kind of just expect that you're gonna go to the gym and just things are gonna happen, by magically. So it's very frustrating for me. Plus, I rely on my coach to kind of give me a game plan, to follow on a game plan, to find me good sparring partners. And I had no sparring partners that kind of mimic Veneta. I had nobody that could have mimicked that. So I truly believe, that if I fought him again, that outcome would never happen.
So it sounds like it was a mistake leaving TriStar, because at the end of the day, you had to spend so much more energy trying to get your camp put together that you couldn't focus on actually training. And that's one of the things about the big camps, is that you go to the big camp, whether it's Jackson Winklejohn or it's Extreme Couture or it's TriStar. These bigger camps have people in place already doing it, and of course the bigger names are going to these academies and training. American Top Team, and these they're coming there and they're training, and you go down and you work out. You walk in a TriStar. It's not like you walk in there, and it's a row of killers. Like everybody in there, you're going to train with that day is going to push you, is going to tax you, is going to put you underneath that constant pressure to make you a better person, and a better fighter. Do you regret now leaving TriStar, and are you going to make a move back to TriStar now for your next training camp?
Well, I mean, I did put it up on Twitter to make it official. I mean, listen, the thing is that I have to, say, I have to tell, I have to give Faraz he's been a great friend, and he's very understanding. I spoke with him. He understood, he understood that, sometimes in life you gotta try different things. You gotta, I'm older now. I'm 31.
Yeah.
I'm not in my 20s. I just felt like I needed something different. I mean, Fraz, he's very understood. He always told me TriStar is like your home. So I mean, I'm back to TriStar. I've been
Good.
training there.
Yeah.
I've been training there. I mean, I mean, do I regret? I mean, at the end of the day, I can look back. Yes, of course, I can say that I regret. But then at the same time, at that moment of time, I truly believed that I was, I was trying to do something different. You know what I mean? What I mean? So I mean, it's a learning experience. That's for sure.
Well, the reality of it is that we always worry about a fighter when he changes camps coming into the next fight. So if you change camps and all of a sudden you have this and you're changing camps specifically to get ready for another fight, there's always that problem. There's always that you've been with Faraz for years. Then all of a sudden you try to get with this new coach. He doesn't have the verbiage. He doesn't have the understanding of you. He doesn't know how you work. Even though Faraz is dealing with 45 guys every day, he still knows you better than that guy that is just now start working with you for 6 to 8, 12 weeks. So it's really a difficult task. And you took on a huge burden. Plus, you'd only won one fight in a row. You just come off a 2-fight losing streak. Losing to was it Cerrone and then Yancy Madero, and then you beat Baghdad, and now you're in a loss situation again. So like you've been kind of up and down your last little bit, especially when people go back and look at your career. Hey, you were 9-0 when you first started. You went 9 wins in a row. You almost hit that 10-win mark. You didn't lose until you got into the UFC, and you won. You won your first UFC fight against Kyle Watson, and then lose to Dennis Hallman and Anthony Njokuani back to back. So it was like, this guy's got potential. This guy's got talent. This guy's got speed. He's short for the weight class. He's strong for the weight class. But then you've kind of been up and down since then. Has it been just the matchups have been really tough, and you kind of couldn't get the victories out, or has it been a problem always from like management or from home life or from some injuries that you're hiding, like stuff like that? Like what's been going on that like I said in the beginning of your career, you were like a guy that was gonna be like, well, this is a guy we got to watch. Like this motherfucker. If I ever got to coach against him or I got to fight him, like this is gonna be a problem. This kid's tough. So all of a sudden, oh, okay, he's an up and down guy. Okay, I might get a good one. I might not get a good one. So what's really been going on in the background?
Yeah, man, that's a great point that you brought up. That's another thing that most people don't know. That in the beginning of my career, everything had a great momentum. I had a good team. Everything was going good. You know what I mean? And then after, for some reason, I had some fallouts with my coaches. I had some, I was in a relationship for 9 years. I was my ex. I was engaged. She was a big part of my career. When we broke up, things started to spiral. I started to spiral. I started to question myself. I started to question everything around me. With the whole, I don't know if you knew, I also took a risk. With the whole freedom fighter, I try to build something with the whole freedom fighter thing. On the side, obviously. Most people think that UFC fighters, we make a lot of money and we're well off. But I mean, I'm in the middle class. You know what I mean? I'm not making. You know what I mean? We don't really make much compared to other athletes. You know what I mean? And
well, I mean, let's take GSP versus you, and both you guys are at TriStar. You're back to TriStar. By the way, I prefer you at TriStar. I think you're a better athlete at TriStar. My personal opinion, which isn't worth shit in your life, but I'm just telling you, that's when I see you at TriStar, you're a way better guy and a way better athlete. You're much more calm. You're easier to deal. You're easy to talk to. And you seem to have better fights when you're at TriStar. So I like you back there. But take like GSP, what's his number? Like the rumors are abounding what his new contract is, but it's in the millions of dollars. You're not even making hundreds of thousands of dollars when you fight. Like you're making thousands of dollars. So it's like trying to be in the same room with a guy over there that's a multimillionaire and a guy over here that's barely making enough to pay his rent. And then you're right in the middle of that where you're like, I got enough to pay my rent, I got enough to pay my bills, but I'm not going to go out and buy a Porsche. I'm not going out and buying a brand new Land Rover. I'm kind of just maintaining my life and not being able to save money, and that's a big deal. Where you're on the same card. I'm going back and looking at December 11th, 2010, your first UFC fight, St. Pierre versus Koscheck, Part 2. Okay, your second fight in the UFC is St. Pierre versus Shields, UFC 129. So now all of a sudden you're getting attached to GSP. Obviously you're in the same training camps, and that's putting you through, but the money is disparagingly different. Even though you're fighting on the same cards, you're fighting at the same time as this other guy, the money is completely different. Of course, GSP goes on and becomes the best, welterweight of all time in the UFC, which is a different, puts him in a different stature, but the numbers are still really disparaging. Is it tough to be able to go, okay, I got to get a nutritionist, I got to pay for a strength coach, I got to have a diet, I got to have particular food in my house, I have to get particular supplements in my house. Is it tough on your pay scale to be able to match what the guys that have more money are able to do, or are you able to even do that but still have to be real cautious with your money?
Yeah, well, of course, it's a combination of stuff. I mean, yeah, of course, you go to a gym. If you go into a TriStar, it's all George St. Pierre. I mean, he has his own brand, he has his own name. Of course, as a fighter, of course, I mean, I won't lie to you. One side of me is envy. I envy. You want to be that. You want to be that guy that is making has the great agent, has that athletic ability. I try to follow George's system. I couldn't keep up to his training regimen. I mean, I won't lie to you. His training regimen is ridiculous. This guy trains. He multitasks. I mean, he trains with the sprinters. He trains with the gymnasts. He trains with multiple different disciplines. It's something that if I try to keep up, my body will get burnt down. I mean, I'm naturally my body's not built. So just a combination of stuff. It's very as a fighter trying to make his name. It's very challenging, especially you live in a place where it's of course it's French, it's mostly French people. I'm Lebanese oriented. There's not really much of a Lebanese community that supports me. I don't know how many. I don't even know how many Lebanese Canadian fighters are in the UFC.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, you're Arabic. You don't really have a big support system. It's always tough. But I also want to, there's I cannot say that's all negative. There's a lot of positive stuff in the sense of, I'm very fortunate. I come from I have my family, my brothers, I come from a good family, so I have a good support system from my family, and
Yeah.
I had some good coaches. I had some good guys come into my life. It's just the hardest part was the consistency, because at the end of the
Yeah.
day, you lose a fight, your stocks go down. It's not the same,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? So there's a lot of pressure in that, and plus the negotiations. It's very hard. That it's very tough. Even managers, it's very discouraging when your manager comes up to you, tells you, "I can't really do much for you unless you win all the fights." So it's very stressful too. You know what I mean? If you're
So
not winning fights, nobody cares about you. You have no sponsors. You got nothing.
yeah, one of the biggest problems I see with you though is that you come from a traditional martial arts background. And traditional martial arts is very, not only does it have a system, a belt system, because you have to go from white belt to black belt, so there's a system, but there's also the respect factor and the trash talking factor and these other things that most non-traditional martial artists don't understand. That I'm not going to go in and talk noise. I'm not going to go in and make have locker room talk and do all this. It's just not my thing. I'm gonna walk in there and fight. So our sport has gone from human cockfighting to a sport, to a fledgling sport, to now sports entertainment. So you take guys like Conor McGregor. When he lost to Diaz, his stock went up because he's immediately talking, and the man is a master at talking. He's a master right now. He's the best guy I've ever seen in any sport, including Muhammad Ali. Like, this guy has overstepped it. Like, he understands how to talk himself into a fight. But you're right, he wins most of his fights. So as a result, his stock keeps going up because he talks noise, and then he wins. You're not a guy that's going to go out there and talk trash on somebody. You're not going to go out there and call somebody and do that kind of thing. And so when you lose, your stock does go down because you don't have that ability to kind of maintain. But GSP is the same way, where he doesn't really talk any noise. Like, he's not really gonna the Bisbing thing he just had, saying that he's drunk was funny, but it's not really gonna push anything. But GSP wins all the time, so that's the difference in that too. So for you, you're in a position where, because you're right now in your career. I mean, the rest of your career, you could win the next 9 in a row, but right now you're kind of up and down. You got to get to a position where either you have to devastatingly win every single one of your fights, or you're going to have to start talking a lot of trash on the side. Gegard Mousasi is very humble, very quiet. He wasn't getting the fights that he wanted, but he was winning. Then he started talking a little bit of noise at one of the press conferences. All of a sudden, now he's getting these fights. He's getting bigger name fights. He's getting pushed towards the title, and people are starting to pay attention to him. Are you prepared to start making that kind of change as well? Not only making the change of going back to TriStar, but also making the change of, like, hey, I have to start being really vocal with what I'm doing. Are you ready to do that kind of thing too?
I mean, listen. At this point, I'm willing to do anything. I've been always trying to evolve as a fighter. It's very difficult to do because of my culture, my way of thinking. I'm a type of guy where I just kind of. I mean, look. At the end of the day, look. I'm a striker. I mean, there's a reason why I keep it standing, not because I can't take it to the ground or I can play it safe, but I try to always give exciting fights.
Hmm.
I mean, I stay in the pocket. I fought big guys. I fought big 155ers. I
Yeah.
fought tough guys. You know what I mean? And I stood there in front of them. Just to give the fans excitement. I always truly believe that sometimes with the way my fighting style, I thought that maybe it can speak for itself, but I also realized that it's not enough. And also for me, it was the most important thing was confidence. If I didn't have, if something in my circle, if something breaks, if I don't have the same, I think every athlete has superstitious. We're all
Yeah.
superstitious. If you don't eat the same way, if you don't feel the same training, that was my biggest struggle. Was always if I don't have the same coach with me beside me, the confidence is the factor. So not every fight I went in there with the best confidence. Some fights I went in there having doubts, and that was the biggest struggle is having, obviously, it's the mental part, what I mean? Because sometimes I don't have the great coaches, I don't have the best support. So sometimes as a fighter, you feel alone in your mind sometimes, you know what I mean? So that was the hardest part, was to kind of juggle the mental part and the physical
Yeah.
part, and then trying to go in there and also juggling all that and trying to stay positive and training every day 100%, and also cutting weight and all that stuff.
What's your body weight at right now?
I fluctuate between 175 and 180, but I'm not like following a strict diet though. That
Yeah,
just
yeah.
eating whatever I want.
So at that size, there's no way for you to make 145. There's no way if you go down one more weight class. And your height and your size and your speed, you'd be actually a big factor at 45, but you're just too heavy. I mean, there's no way you can, drop 80 pounds or 40 pounds rather to get down there. That's
Yeah,
that's a lot of weight, especially with your muscle mass.
yeah, 100%. Yeah, it's also people don't understand that just after your muscle and the fats. Once you drop your fat percentage, then you got the muscle, and then you got your skeleton. You know what I mean? There's
Yeah,
people cutting weight is a big serious subject. You know what I mean? And I spoke to multiple dietitianists, nutritionists, and they actually told me that it's not recommended. One guy doesn't want to. He didn't recommend it, And there's one Ben Hoffman. He's been following me for the past 4 years. He helps me with my weight cutting, and he was an ex bodybuilder. And I truly believe that bodybuilders, when it comes to the science of weight cutting and understanding the body, the understanding how to deplete the body without losing actually performance, because the
yeah.
goal is not cutting weight. The goal is to perform. You know what I mean? So a lot of these fighters, they cut weight, but then they can't perform. You know what I mean? So
How much water weight do you cut the week of the fight? Like, are you cutting 15 pounds? You cutting 20 pounds? Or
10,
how much water weight? Cutting 10 pounds.
look, 10 pounds of water weight usually. Yeah. Yeah.
So I mean, it
So
if
that's good. That's easy. That's a walk in the park. That's
yeah,
easy.
10 pounds is nothing. I mean, it's really
Uh,
just that's. I mean, for the folks at home that don't understand that, 10 pounds of water weight is something that can happen in a couple hours. Like, it's really not that hard to get.
Pretty much 18 hours. Once I cut my water, that's pretty much I drop 6 7 pounds, and then I wake up the morning of. I just gotta drop maybe 4 or 5 pounds of water.
Okay. Yeah. So it's relatively simple for you with that weight. But now you're trying to deal with, are you going to beat a guy like Conor McGregor? Because you got to think about your long term. You're 31 years old. You're not going to be, you may be in the sport until you're 45, but you may have to be done with the sport at 35. So you have to start thinking about what's my long term ability in this thing. Am I going to be able to, are you going to be able to, with the right training and the right understanding and being back at TriStar and getting the right things, are you going to be able to battle a guy like Conor McGregor in 2 years? Are you going to be able to battle a guy like Tony Ferguson in 2 years? I'm taking Habib out of it because he's not making weight. So right now he's a question mark. He's not making weight. We can't really concern ourselves with him until he can start making weight again. But like a guy like Ferguson, a guy like McGregor, are you going to be able to battle these guys right now? Like in 2 years from now, can you see yourself battling these guys and being in a title run?
I mean, listen, I got into this business. I was inspired from for me, every fighter wants to be a champion. I came into the
Yeah.
sport. I didn't expect to, I didn't expect to have defeats. I didn't expect to, be one of those guys that is. I never wanted to be mediocre. I wasn't at. I always strive to be the best. You know what I mean? So when I got into the sport, when I was all my life, I did martial arts. You know what I mean? I got endless gold medals, trophies. I've been doing
Yeah.
fighting since 6 years old. I started competing. You know what I mean? So I never wanted to be just a fighter. I always wanted to be the best. You know what I mean? So obviously, suffering some losses, it does start putting a lot of doubts in your mind. You start questioning things. It's not easy to deal with. But I truly believe in my heart, if I had the best, if I had the right training preparation, I can fight anybody. You know what I mean? And I do want to fight the best. And I gave myself in the age of 35.
Yeah.
If I then I get to my goals, you know what I mean, I gotta have to start trying to figure out what else to do, because I'm not trying to, I don't want to be I don't want to be a stepping stone to anybody. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, it makes sense, and that's not your mentality, and that's not anybody's mentality. But now the way the sport is going, you can actually make a pretty good living not being the champ. You can talk yourself into, some bigger name fights and get some money fights and make some money. I mean, look at the Diaz brothers. They're not the champs. They don't own the belts of the weight classes, but they definitely get the right opportunities, the right opportunities. They hold out for the right spots, and then they make better than money than they should, because they are the Diaz brothers. This is how it works. So do you have management right now? Are you managed by somebody right now?
Yeah, of course. I have
Okay.
somebody that kind of speaks in behalf of my name. You know what I mean? But it's also it's one of those things where it's very it's the financial part is very it's very tough. It's one of those things where you cannot go you get bumped up. I get bumped up by twos and fives. I mean, when I fought Donald Cerrone, that was my biggest paycheck, because that was the only reason why I took the fight. I came off a fight 2 weeks before prior, and they told me I can fight Don Cerrone. I had a $10,000. They gave me they bumped me up $10,000. So I mean, for me,
It's huge.
that was my only opportunity to make more money, because if I didn't take that fight, God knows how long it would take me to get to double digits. You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
mean, people have no idea. It's not easy. I mean, financially, it's very tough to get better deals. To have more resources, because the more money you have, the better resources you can travel. You can hire better coaches. You can pay more people. But when you're working on a budget, I have to find. I gotta try to negotiate. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
My training. So I cannot pay 5 different coaches. I can't afford. I can't afford to have 20 different coaches. You know what I mean? I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm not. I have to kind of train myself most of the time. Most of the time, I educate myself. I'm very lucky. Like my younger brother, he's a strength coach. So I don't really pay him all the time, but
Yeah.
he helps me with my strength conditioning. You know what I mean? And I try to negotiate. When I work with other people, I try to figure out how I can budget. I have to have a budget. I mean, the bottom line, I gotta budget myself. I cannot go and start spending my money, because then I'll be in the minus. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, no, it makes sense. It makes sense, and it's an issue really for a lot of fighters. So what you're saying is not something that's brand new to me. At least I've seen it with other fighters. I've seen it with other guys I've cornered. I've seen it with other folks running around. Like this is common. This is a very common issue that you're having. That you're trying to get to the top level, but the top level guys are at the top, and they have all the money coming in, so they get to stay at the top. So it's that game that goes on. So you got to find a way, and like you said, negotiate, and that's another stress. Like now you have to negotiate these things right now. You don't have a fight coming up, but you got to negotiate it right now. You have to start working with these guys right now. So when you get that phone call from Sean Shelby or McMahon that you're ready to go, that you always say, oh yeah, no, I've got my everything is squared away. I'm all set up. I'm ready to rock. So I got to ask, like, you don't have a fight signed right now.
No.
This is we're like March 11th or whatever. It's been 4 months since your last fight, and they haven't. No one's called you and said, "Hey, maybe this guy, maybe that guy." There's been no conversation as of yet for a fight. Who do you want to fight next, and where do you want to where do you want to be? Because like now, all of a sudden, you only get paid when you fight. There's one time you make money is when you're fighting. So you've got to fight. You've got to find a way to get out there and get after it. Otherwise, if you wait 6 months, 7 months, all of a sudden now it's like you're fighting once a year. That's no good. Like you got to be more active. When
100%.
when do you want when do you want to fight next? First, let's find out when do you want to fight next.
Well, my goal, at first, my goal was to get into a Halifax card, but that was out of the question.
Okay.
Because obviously I'm a Canadian
Yeah.
fighter, so it's always more. It's better for me to fight in Canada soil. But of course, if I have to travel, I have no choice to travel. But I mean, I spoke to my manager. I've been, I had some names. I had some good quality opponents that I thought it would be a good matchup. Top of my head, Michael Johnson is a brawler. I
Yeah.
think he's coming up from a loss. He's a top guy. There's a lot of top 15 guys I think that I can match up good with. You know what I mean? That are brawlers. You know what I mean? And there's some I'm trying to get a fight in May. Actually, I was thinking of
Okay.
May to get a fight. It's hard because there's so many fighters rotating. The UFC has to make all the fighters fight. There's a rotation, and everybody. Some guys haven't been fighting, so I mean, my goal is to fight at least 3-4 times a year.
What seems to be working, at least for a lot of the fighters, is they get on Twitter or Facebook and they call out another fighter, and just not like, hey asshole, let's fight, but hey, I'm just saying you said Michael Johnson, so that's his name I'm using. I'm not saying that's the guy you're calling out. I'm just saying I'm using
Yeah,
that name because that's what you just said. Like, hey, Michael Johnson, how about you and I fighting in May? What do you think? You want to fight in May? Do you think that fight's, I think we're a good matchup for each other. Do you want to fight in May? He says yes, and all of a sudden both of you go, tag Dana White. Hey, Dana White, Mike and I both want to fight in May. Make it happen. And you just keep fucking hounding him, and then the fans get behind it. Then all of a sudden Dana's like, yeah, oh, you know what? The fans like it. Why not? Let's put this fight on, whatever card May then. And you can kind of, if you chase it down, you can kind of set your own pace, and then be like, hey, look, I want to fight, 2 or 3 times a year. May will be my first fight, so I'll be ready to fight again, September, and I'll be ready to fight in December. Like this, that's just how it's going to go. Like, and then you have to kind of put yourself out there like that. And that seems to be working for a lot of fighters. I don't know if it'll work for you. I'm not sure, if that's your game plan or how you do it, but that seems to be working for other fighters for sure.
yeah, but actually, I find that I find that pretty sad because I mean we're professional athletes and we got to go out there on Twitter and we gotta waste energy on doing that. That's where the manager and the promoter should take care of that part. You know what I mean? I have a communication with my manager, but it's pretty sad it's pretty sad that fighters have to go on Twitter and start calling out people, and I just find that makes the sport doesn't make the sport any professional. You know what I mean? You don't.
Yeah,
I mean, it's but in the same time, I guess it is a tool that I gotta keep an open mind. That I'm not really used to that. I'm not accustomed to go out on social media and start calling out guys. But I won't lie to you. I always wish that somebody calls me out because yes, I'm not a trash talker. Yes, I'm not. I'm one of those guys who is quiet, who's respectful. But I mean, if a guy calls me out and starts talking trash, you'll see another side of me that
yeah,
not too many guys saw because then you know what then he wants then actually that would give me some motivation to go in there and kick his ass. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
if somebody does call me out, I would love that. I would love the opportunity to someone call me out or talk trash because then they're gonna see they want to play with fire. I'll play with fire. It's not a problem. You know what I mean? But I'm more of a passive aggressive person. You know what I mean?
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
not a type of, I'm not gonna go out there and pick fights. But when the fight comes my way, I hope you know what I mean. I'll fight. That's not a problem. You know what I mean?
Well, John, thanks so much for coming on here with the MMA Oddsbreaker. I really appreciate it, man. It was great, insightful to see what's going on, and I definitely want to follow up with you as soon as you get your next fight signed, even before you start training camp. Even if it's like, oh hey, we're thinking about this guy. I definitely want to follow up with you and see how this progression is going, because you're at a spot now in your career. You got to start making some money, and you got to start getting things pushed forward. And the only way to do it is by winning fights. So you got to get your shit together. That's honestly, at the end of the day, that's my personal opinion, is that you got to get your shit together. To do that back at TriStar and working on everything else. I mean, that's awesome.
Thank you so much, bro. Appreciate it.
You got it, John. Take care, brother, and good luck, man. We'll talk again soon.
All right, brother. Take care. Have a good day.